Hi, DJ Av here, and today we're going to be talking about mixing in FL Studio using Infected Mushroom Pusher, which just came out not too long ago. I think last week, Tuesday, or rather. But yeah, so I'm going to play this track first. You already know the deal, and then we're going to talk about the details of this mix. I don't even know if this part's going to play or not. Woo! Oh yeah. I know this part's not gonna play. We're gonna see. Nope. Nope. Anyways, so the basic gist of it is you can see some things that I've done out of the ordinary for those who know or watch like many of my many videos about how I mix and whatnot, because it's all subjective to what you do or whatever. But you know, long story short, I talked to Waves Audio reached out to me after I did my review or whatever, because I'd still stand behind what I said. It's phenomenal for definitely for its price, but it's also phenomenal because of what all you could do with it. And you know, they gave me some suggestions or whatnot. But the main thing you'll notice that I did not mess with the master volume at all within the DAW. No, I did not. Not at all whatsoever. What I did was I used the functionality of I Am Pusher, Infected Mushroom Pusher, I Am Pusher, and I used the input because I didn't want to use my audio interface. I was just curious of how great it would work, and it works very well. But a quick tip that they gave me is, you know, just not to over express the mix in terms of the input gauge, which you know you have a great visual cue. That's one of the main reasons why you should get this. But And no, they didn't pay me. Save your cash, Wave Audio, if you're thinking about it. But yeah, like you're just using audio cue. You know, the main tip that they gave me is just the not go over the red, and I presume that they gave me that tip is because when you do that, the limiter will kind of work itself into doing some weird phasing, uh, induce some phasing issues that what limiters do when they're trying to, you know, reduce the gain. And I wasn't worried about that because I didn't want it to clip anyways. But visually that's cool. But one thing I do want to talk about is this area right here, which I had more clarity about how it works now. And let me mute the NLS bus stereo bus thingy. But yeah. Oh, pardon me. Open your ears to this. In my review, which you could check out the review in the playlist, so check out my playlist for that. VST reviews, no reviews. I made a conscious mistake, but it wasn't necessarily what I was expressing. But me being me, this does affect the tone of your low end. But the true purpose of this, and let me explain it. Yeah, 12 keys on your keyboard, right? And you have your different octaves, C5, C6, C4, C3, some inclining, declining, depending on how you look at it, or really not. But I could actually show you a little better if I was to go in here. This one right here. As you can see, you see C6, B5, and all that. I had to put my dog down. Dang. And you see that if you go down a little lower in the octave or whatnot, it plays lower. And what in retrospect to that is to what this means is the fact that it only boosts certain things in that area. That's where the boosting begins, not really where the tone sounds, but it does affect the overall tightness of that. So let me play. As you can see, it affected how it boosted the lower end. And then again, you can dial in some more low or whatever for that case. And there are also some other things again that the Cider does, in which you can think of it as like stereo separation, but at the same time explaining it. You have like and unlike content, and stereo separation kind of takes that like content and spreads it out like further, side by side, left or right, or however you like to look at it. But visually, you have the center the center of all your like frequency content, and then the unlike content is spilled out to the sides. So that explains where how the cider does, and it kind of evenly distributes, widens that center, and for that. It kind of works like mid to side if I was to be in that direction there. I don't really go for the whole stereo. That's why I don't go really for the stereo image, because it kind of thins it out, but it has a counterbalance. That's how it sounds without it. And now I'm gonna add it. And there's some more to that, and we're gonna get to the 808 in a second, because the 808 is ridiculous. But scientifically, if you was to listen to this or whatnot, there's some certain things that you'll notice about dynamic punch too, as well, along with this exciter in the middle, or magic. I kind of like that for that part. Oops. Either way, but there's that where that really helps, like, to build your center area, the strength of your overall signal, or of the harmonics of your song. But it's gluing everything together. I haven't really messed with the limiter. I can experiment with that real quick. Wow. I did. And that kind of explains the reason why in the review video, why the Waves was trying to give me a pointer or two there, because now I'm able to benefit from both the input in terms of, like, the balance of the loudness, and use the visual cue, which will help any guy right now that doesn't have, like, an audio interface. This plugin becomes more and more valuable, especially at $30. Even if it was like $50 down the future, I would scoop that if I was you. I mean, this is a high recommendation. I'm so glad I bought this. I really wasn't gonna buy this, because I was like, I really thought this shit was gonna be a gimmick. But okay, so I know you 808 heads, you're all ready for some 808 love it. This is another thing. I like the size of that. Not too big on my 1080 screen. So this is another thing I want to point out here. So I have another instance of I Am Pusher working here, and I have it on the Spins 808 that everyone loves. And what I got here, and as you see, I'm not using any magic or any exciter, because I didn't think it would benefit from it. I'm pushing the shit out of it, which is something I'm pretty sure Waves will flip out about in this video. But part right here. We're gonna talk about this bass. Woo, that bass is something else. But we're gonna talk about that bass, and I'm gonna go ahead and detach to that, so it'll stay on the screen. So this bass whatnot is being pushed. You see, it's being processed like shit. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will have their naysays about that, but it's all personal preference for 808s. As you can see, the input is being pushed. I wanted to use the input of the natural clipping of the input for distortion itself, as it already has distortion anyways. But here's the thing here. You'll see that, again, we're going to use this area right here for where the boosting begins. And you'll notice different types of tightness to that 808 as I go cycle through, the keys. Well, I screwed up my 808 the way I wanted it, but that's fine. I really like experimenting with stuff like this. But as you can see, the lower the frequency. I'm gonna go back to playing just the 808. The lower the frequency is set, or the lower the key is set, you'll hear the difference as in the bottom end. See, when I go to like D2, D sharp, the lower end in D2 sharp is tighter in the center. As if I was to go up higher in the octave in D1 sharp, it's looser. Especially in the center, so it's going to be tighter in the center of the harmonics. Yeah, really, really sick. Yeah, it's really sick. So, if you like this video, give it a like. If you have any comments, please leave a comment. I didn't mean to hold everybody up to this. I know I take a little time and I explain. But anyways, I'm DJ McCree, and I appreciate y'all. If you have any comments, make sure, again, leave in the description box. Ask me questions. Ask me questions, and, we'll get to it from there or whatnot. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank y'all for your time, and have a good day.